Are you guys just getting a black? Oh, there it is. Wow, that was odd. Okay. Hey, Aaron Meta. I know. God, whenever they start with the sports chat, I'm just like, all right, I'll check back to see if they're talking about MCOC in a couple hours. I'm doing good, Aaron. It's kind of weird. This is my first Easter in a long time without a gig, but that's what happens when you take a bit of a break. I really thought that was a parry. Oh well. Doom cheats, man. It cost me the equivalent of tens of thousands of loyalty last night, just hitting me randomly. Sadly, Nimrod was not as good against Magneto Boss as I'd hoped. Gotcha. Because you still have the Unstoppable to deal with, you still have to find openings, and then the block penetration is probably kind of bad, although you have the armor. That's interesting, Saraghost. I would have thought that that went okay. Like, not better than Miguel, but still kind of surprises me. Hey, Jackson. Hey, BWF. That seems arguable. Fitness is great. I don't miss sports ball. No offense to anyone who's big into. Hey, Doffrey. Best counter for good timing. Best counter for Void on Window of Opportunity in War. For my money, it's still Apocalypse. But there are a number of things you can do. Like if Ghost is unbanned, then Ghost makes a ton of sense. Um, Trying to think of other obvious ones right now. Like I'm sure both of the skill champions that I have here would work. Oh, Mole Man. Mole Man's gonna be way, way up there. You don't want to use Kingpin because of its void. Like Shang-Chi can probably do it, but you're gonna have to dance a little bit. Yeah, I think Ghost, APOC, and Mole Man are gonna be the top options there. Right, Sarah Ghost. Yeah, armor doesn't matter. That's true. So you just took a lot of block damage. I would be extremely afraid of Hard Knock Life, Jackson. Yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't agree to take that fight. Because the thing is that if she throws enough heavies, if all the special ones are perfectly spaced, then you don't even need the House of X pre-fight because you'll just be heavy countering everything. Good game. But if she doesn't play along and you lose your pre-fights, then like what are you even doing there? Because brute force is direct damage, right? So Reed's resistances aren't going to do anything. He's not going to break the shield much faster than anyone else. Like that, yeah. I don't like that matchup. Hard Knock Life really messes with him. I wouldn't have PWF. Chang-Chi does make sense. But in general, if there's not a... I should be paying attention while I'm playing Hawkeye. In general, if there's not a compelling reason why rank 4 Apocalypse will not take that node, we do try and send it. There we go. Was gonna do some cardio again, but something happened to your neck. Sorry to hear that, man. I was hoping to wake up this morning and take a nice walk, and a cold front came through. Like, I probably still will later, but I'm gonna wait for the sun to thaw us out a little bit. Why couldn't you stay and eradicate Saraghost? You just re-parry because he's stun immune and you build armors really fast that way. Like, I definitely would have used Miguel over it, but I'm just curious why you couldn't stay and eradicate, because, like, that's... I like taking stun immune mutants with Nimrod, because I'm always at, like, 12 or 13 armors or something crazy. 12 or 14, sorry. Awakened, always even. I would not use APOC for that, Jackson. I would not use any mutant for that fight because brute force is affected by class disadvantage or by class advantage, class disadvantage. Um, we sent Corvus today. I think if you can get him to 2 charges, probably even 1, then that's the simplest option for Penny because you just break her shield through the block very quickly. Because remember, it's based on base attack, and Corvus hits much harder than his base attack would imply, and that cuts through it pretty quick. Meta was actually the one who did that, if you have any questions for him. Our alternative was Kingpin, which I maintain would have gone very, very well. We've sent CGR for it before. It works. It's a little scary. And then Venom and Venompool can both do it as well. King Groot would probably be great as well. I mean, he's going to be slower, but you're not going to care about brute force. So there's a certain elegance, not elegance, like the opposite of elegance, because it's a very brute force method. But there's something to be recommended there. Because you're bad at repairing. Okay, fair enough. That would that would do it. I would not send that fight to somebody not comfortable with parrying on multiple times on stun immune. Hey, Clown, how's it going, man? Axe throwing. I could see that having something to do with it. Oof. All right. You made the mistake of actually reading the waiver. Yeah, that sounds very scary for an axe throwing place. I actually haven't done that. My girlfriend and some of her law friends did a while ago with one of their professors and had a good time. There are a number of them just outside of Pittsburgh. Oh, boo. I've been so good at that counter recently. But I suppose I wasn't really paying that close an attention. Yeah, that was early enough. Yeah, okay, I was. I felt the difference. I was definitely late the first time. That's what Arena's for. Venom Bullet is. Good luck. MP Blaze took it in the off season a while ago, but you can look for it. Or I think it was in the off season. I think it's a good fight. You do have to finesse it a little bit, but especially while she's bugged, it's not that bad. I wonder when they will fix that, because it's really blunting one of the more otherwise more dangerous defenders. That's cool, Toffrey. Yeah, if you're boss killing, Miguel is way better than Overseer, and it's not close. Toffrey, I know you know that that's not, like, a serious possibility, but I would just point out, if I were hoping to go nuts and kill some people with axes, I would not go to a place where I know there are multiple people who are very good at throwing axes themselves. It has echoes of Suicide by Cop, which, is a real thing. But hey, Devil Dog, how's it going? Used Venom Pool before, it's just I hate the Hard Knock Life. Yeah, I mean, I just wouldn't parry there. Treat the node like it has Stunning Reflection on it. You can block, don't parry. This is where you test your Magneto timing, everyone. That went pretty well. Hey, Dante. It is going to be tough without a lot of 6 stars, because I am leaning heavily on that myself. Um, First question, are you able to get to a streak of 20? Or is your issue getting that far? Take care, Toffrey. Catch you later, man. biggest, I guess, matchup I can remember in a while. 18 streak, and you like consistently lose it at 18. Would you mind outlining like what's your plan on getting your streak up? That joke was for me, Cloud. Thank you. You're stuck on the 6 miles? I'm not sure what that means. Oops. That's... that scared me. Friggin' energy resistance. Because if you're not familiar, Dante, the way that Arena works for this kind of stuff is that it gets progressively harder until around the 15 to 20 range. That's normally where the fight difficulty peaks. And then it stabilizes, and there are um, certain kinds of teams that are safe. And that's how you end up with the much higher streaks. Because it's very difficult to be efficient with your roster if you're resetting every 20 rounds, as opposed to, what am I at now? 38? Like, yeah, I have more 6 stars, so my points are going further, but like, I didn't grind that much. And I would be at a significantly lower point total if I had restarted halfway through. So in general, what you want to do is you want to start with your weaker champions, because the first 5 fights while you're getting to that 3 times multiplier don't matter. So like go over here and sort by hero rating and like invert it, right? I'm filtered by 6 stars, but you'll just see your weakest champions here. And do that. Do 5 rounds, your 15 just like weakest champions, get to 3 times. Then do some like middling teams for like 6 through 8. And then go to your strongest teams and get to around 50. Go as long as you can before you get to teams where you're like, I'm not sure I can lose really hard fights with this. If that doesn't take you above 20, then stop playing and wait for them to recharge. Like, it's hard to do that because it feels like you're leaving points on the table, but in the long run, with a small roster, it's better. Stop playing, wait for them to recharge, come back, use your best teams to get over the 20 mark, and then use those safe teams. And in general, that means teams of all 6 stars, as long as they're leveled even, rank 1s are okay. Rank 5 5 stars, rank 4 5 stars, rank 3 5 stars, and you can do a single rank 4 5 star and 2 rank 1s, but be careful with that. Kind of going to depend on your PI. If your masteries aren't in a particularly good spot, then I maybe wouldn't do that. But hopefully that's helpful. This is one of my favorite arena teams, Jason. How's it going? I always forget to actually use the heavy with this team, though. Oh, that's right, because I'm supposed to wait until I actually go into overdrive first. Oh well, say la vie. So willpower is a definite must, Dante. I would be very careful with the recoil tree. It makes arena grinding faster, but I think it is actually a huge step backward in progression for a lot of people. You'll see it recommended by people who have rosters built for it. Like, it's really easy to recommend recoil all the time when you're looking at somebody who has like 30 rank 3s and 5 of them are like Hercules, I don't know, King Groot, Corvus. I'm having trouble remembering some of the other big ones, but like Diablo, Omega Red. If you're running through some of that, like, yeah, it's easy to recommend them. But you're probably also looking at people who are a lot more concerned with getting through AQ very quickly every day than they are with clearing content. They also probably have very high skill, uh, like just very good skills, and so they can get through content without taking much damage, and so the extra from recoil doesn't matter to them. If you have a smaller account, if you don't have a lot of 6 stars, if you're trying to move through acts 5, 6, and 7, I really don't think that Liquid Courage and Double Edge are going to help you. They hit harder, but they completely kneecap a large swath of the champions in this game as far as utility goes. And utility is more important than damage in most content. It just is. So if you're gonna have to sink like most of your units into that and your roster isn't built for it, give it a second thought. Whoops, I'm sorry. No, the game is frozen. Alright, 1 second, be right back. Well, if you have a highly ranked Herc, then go for it. But I also think that recoil is a losing proposition for free to play players. Because if you're actually trying to progress your account, if you're trying to participate in higher level war, like you're going to be switching them on and off. And that is so expensive. That's a lot of units that you just cannot afford. It's funny, I was fan. Yeah, it happens. Like you don't need to hit harder to get through Act 5. You need to counter the nodes. Yeah, Herc also doesn't need the recoil tree, I agree. He's amazing with it, but he's good without it. Basically, every champion not named Corvus that's good with it is good without it. Absolutely, PWF. Mastery switching is awful. It doesn't need to be, but it is. I mean, Herc is very good, Dante, but you will be better at this game long term if you don't just unlock recoil and blitz through all content with him. Like, there are so many things about this game that you will never learn if that's how you approach content. Sorry to get a little moralizing with this. I've just, in that respect, he feels like the new Corvus. Because there was a very long period in this game where it's like if we were recruiting for our alliance and somebody said like, "Oh yeah, my favorite champion is Corvus. I just clear everything with him." I'd be like, "Oh my god. All right. So this person probably doesn't know how to play. Let's see some duels with somebody other than Corvus." And then they would just get destroyed and they wouldn't understand it because Corvus wouldn't have had that problem. And that's it's not good for you. I know, Work. I was expecting you or Slay to say something like that. You actually know how to play. You've been here a while. And Dante, maybe you already know how to play too. I'm not trying to make assumptions, just it sounds like you're newer to the game, and so I would be very careful with the crutches that you end up giving yourself. There is an addictive component to clearing content and doing arena with recoil, and especially champions like Hercules. It is not necessarily good for you. Feel like DLL is talking about training. I hate the hitbox on his heavy so much. Oh, well, that was the hard one. Yeah, Deadpool is not really in a great spot to be a main champion right now. That's a bummer. Hopefully Deadpool X-Force gets a good buff. I understand the distinction they were trying to make, but it's a little bit silly that he gets no heal. See how that goes next time. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Yeah, that's a good thing to focus on, Dante, for sure. You kind of want him to stink still. That's mean work. Hoping some Mystic gets buffed for next month. Do you have one in particular in mind, PWF? Nobody is gonna say Doctor Doom, Dante. He's due for a nerf, not a buff. To be fair, Jason, it kind of has something to do with the specific few champions that you got good with. Yeah, you can do that. I enjoy using a broader roster, but I know you've done well. Oh, good luck, Steve. Still want your OG Hulk buff? That would be cool. Hey, Double P. I will keep an eye out for that path when I get there, Saraghost. Strange Chavez Mordo. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'd be very much here for any of the three of those. Might be right work, but I'm not joining you on the despair train over there. Yes, Omega Sentinel is good at rank 4. None of her synergies are terribly important. The one with Nimrod is good, but she doesn't need them. Yeah, I know, Jason. It's a process for sure. And with all the things you've done with Cap, it is admirable that you are pushing for it. Have I decided who gets the generic Awakening Gem? That's not a choice that can be made before I open the class one. And all the nexuses. Like it's useless to plan ahead on something that could change with so many or that has so many chances to change. I'm not enough of a real comics nerd to catch that reference meta. Vega and you both had some Omega Cent fights this war? That's cool. We still only have Strands on defense, but it did strike me that there were a few spots on the map where she would have been really good. So I'm not surprised to hear that. What do I think about Gamora? I think Gamora's in a solid spot right now. I'd probably put her in the like second, maybe third rung of cosmics, depending on how you measure it. Like she's not as good as somebody like Hercules, but she's awfully good. And she's pretty user-friendly. Doesn't really strike me as difficult to use. Has good synergies. Does a lot of the things that I want. Gotcha. Thanks for the explainer, guys. Eh, that's fine. That is what I was hoping for eventually, though, was that I would nullify one of his unstoppables and that would cause things to go nuts. All I needed. I mean, ultimately, Dante is just going to be up to you. Like, you say you don't have the recoil tree yet, so I don't think there's any point in ranking Corvus right now for you. Gamora definitely does sound stronger and more sustainable than Corvus without recoil. And Proxima is an interesting thought experiment that hasn't kept up with the realities of the game and never really got there. Have fun, work. If you like Daredevil Hell's Kitchen, Dante, do not unlock recoil. Zergost's advice about thinking about utilities and filling roles, needs in your roster is good. Definitely spend some time thinking that way. I think I went too far. There he is. Hey Vega, how's it going, man? You're having a good Sunday. I'm not going that far, J. Not going that far, Cloud. I have seen people have a good time with Daredevil Hell's Kitchen. Kat Murdoch does some good stuff with hers. Would I recommend someone invest in him? Absolutely not. But if you like him, there are things he can do. But among the things he can do, survive with the recoil masteries is not high on the list. Kingpin works fine with recoil. You just need to be running him with Hood or Joe Fixit. He doesn't need it at all, but that's a little different. Hey, Adam, how's it going? Surviving is not high on this list. If they can rebuff Gamora, they can and should rebuff Daredevil. I agree. I like what they were going for. There's some cool stuff in his kit, but he definitely deserves the Gamora slash Ebony Maw treatment. I'm with you, Steve, at least at this point. I used to play an awful lot of Ghost, and she's fun, but there's a reason my Wasp is rank 3 and my Ghost is not. Hey, Kabir, how's it going? I set my own unit grind back yesterday when I bought this new profile picture, but I have zero regrets. There's only 80 units. Hmm. Joe kind of needs his specials more. I think we're doing this. Yeah, Sarah goes. Like, there's a cool kit there, for sure. There are absolutely things they could do with Daredevil that would make me want to rank him. Just not there right now. His prestige is decent. Yeah, decent. He's one of those where it's actually good at low prestige and then it trails off to right? Yeah, the Kane special one, the good one. Yeah, Dante, the more that I've seen from your comments, it sounds like you really enjoy a lot of the different champions in this game. Don't unlock recoil, man. Like it can be a good long-term decision. It makes a lot of sense for certain people like towards the end game, but that's not where you are now. Because it sounds like you're what, uncollected? And there are just so many champions in this game that it sounds like you legitimately enjoy. It would be a real bummer to see you feel like you can't use them because they keep losing health and they're not sustainable. That would make me sad. Oh, an unawakened doom. That helps. Yeah, I agree, Saragost. Like the between his Sig, the ability accuracy reduction, especially when you pair it with Psylocke or Electra to get the 100% ability accuracy reduction, the bleeds, the cruelties, the furies, the precisions, the passive damage he gets off his special 3. Like, the kit looks awesome when you read it, and then you try and use it, and you're like, oh, the numbers aren't worth it. I don't think it would be hard for them to fix that. I really thought she was going for the heavy. That was so dumb. uh, swap his special 1 and special 2 animations. I definitely wouldn't be opposed to that. Whoops. I hadn't actually checked the numbers yet, but Cersei has a high enough crit rate to crit against Doom. That's nice. Yeah, Diablo's a lot of fun. I'm assuming you're running Cable with Apocalypse. It's a good time. Yeah, Black Widow Deadly Origin. There's not a lot of utility there, but she's tons of fun. Yeah, there are a lot of characters to enjoy in this game. Why I'm still here. That's interesting about OG Spider-Man with negative. Like I don't think that would have much of a impact on my roster, but that's cool to hear. Hate fighting against her. Yeah, that evade can get you. Oh right, he's completely armor breaking me. What am I doing? It's almost like there was a reason I used this matchup. That's fine. Oh man, Gog. Please be better soon. Cosmic Ghost Rider was your first 6-star? Jesus. Congrats. My first was OG Cyclops. Hey, never tested that heavy counter before. Good to know it works. Your first 6-star was Wasp. That's pretty solid. Yeah, Dante. Mangog is one of those where I should make a video on him. Because he's not that hard to fight outside of the current node 54. He's stupid there. But you have to understand what's going on. Biggest thing is keep a special ready for when he goes unstoppable, and don't do 5-hit combos. If you're not used, or if you're not aware of that part, don't do 5-hit combos. That's what's ramping him into the unstoppable more often. Your ults for 6-star was CMM, you just don't like her? Nah. Yeah, my ults for 6-star was Strife, which is ridiculous. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, that was just unfazed. That wasn't something else. Took Mangog on 54 with Reed, got screwed because the debuffs fell off. Yeah, it's just a hard fight. It doesn't matter who you use, it can go wrong. Like, the only truly safe option is specifically magic with Purgatory. But that's such a long fight that you can still have the AI do their best to kill you. Shouldn't have thrown the special. That's fine. Miguel is my favorite for it, Clown. Absolutely. I've just also seen it go wrong. What I mean is that, like, Miguel crushes it. No, Miguel crushes it, but, like, the AI can throw you, right? He can just wait. Magic is the only truly safe option, and I say that with quotes because of the absolute power lock. But I would never send Magic over Miguel. There you go. I mean, Kamala Khan is miles better than Cyclops Dante. You can do real stuff with her. I have no idea, Adam. I think it changes based on who's in the basic. Worst thing that can happen in a normal war is forgetting to use torches pre-fight when it's needed. I would raise you the not using an advanced power back boost when you need it for a Corvus fight. That might actually be worse. Yeah, Sarah Ghost. I definitely would never take that fight without Reed being awakened. Clown has left the chat. I do think we're on the same page on how to assign that fight. It's just that the AI can mess with you no matter who you use. That's all I mean. I definitely prefer Reed there, Sarah Ghost. Based on what you're saying, I'm guessing you maybe don't always have anti-venom. Because when I say I prefer Miguel there, I prefer Miguel with anti-venom. Like, I haven't used Reed this season with Defiance, but I've seen enemies just sit there and wait until they get their, special 2 if it's Mangog, special 3 if it's Sorcerer Supreme, and just wreck you. Because you can't use Invuln on that node because you need the power start. It's just... I've taken it with Reed, and I actually haven't died. But I don't enjoy it. You only use Invuln on that node? Well, yeah, that's because you start with Wither. If you use Reed there, you have to use APB, because you need to get to your second Petrify, or things are going to go poorly for you. Yeah. And that would make a big difference, Saraghost. If my Spider-Man players did not have anti-venom, then I would be taking it with Reed a lot more often. But they do, so it's not really a contest. Hey, Grinfeld. Mind throwing a heavy. Okay, well, that's not where the counter goes. Now? Yes, okay, it is possible. This is why I love War, Chavez on 53, Penny 55, Misty Night Boss. That's an interesting one. Glad you're having fun, Jackson, though. That Chavez and Penny are definitely meta placements. Not a fan of anti-venom because you have to choose between the damage and ability. Oh, I think you're misunderstanding Grinfeld. I'm not talking about using anti-venom. I'm talking about the synergy for Spider-Man 2099. Because that synergy is what pulls Miguel ahead on really important power control nodes like 54. Most other places, they're pretty close. I think even people who are big fans of Anti-Venom would be quick to agree that Mr. Fantastic is a stronger champion. Yeah, PWF. I went back and forth on it's weird. We actually like couldn't fit an apocalypse for that fight easily today. But we've taken it multiple times with iBomb, and I was able to be over there and put all the Reed pre-fights on it. It's not a hard fight for iBomb even without Defiance, and right now, there's Defiance. What on earth is this AI doing? Stop holding your heavy. What is this, the 4-star arena? Alright, gonna pay attention for a second. How many chocolate bunny heads have I eaten today? None yet. Probably have a little bit later. I agree, Jackson. I hope that they continue to tune things. For anyone else who is not doing so, highly recommend Campo's loyalty tracker. I've been doing that myself. And good lord, actually getting hit this war shot my loyalty usage way, way up. First war I took 5 fights, exactly average, just used 2 gray boosts, 20,000. Nothing, right? Second war I took 8 fights, got hit on a couple of them, still only used 3 potions. And it jumped all the way up to about 110,000, which is already past what they consider sustainable. And keep in mind, I did not die. That's kind of frustrating. Nothing there, right? Okay. Hey, Snoops, how's it going? Used APOC, it was difficult to squeeze in cable for the charges. Yeah, that's really what it was, Jackson. We could fit an APOC, but we couldn't fit an APOC with cable, and there was nowhere to charge him, so it just wasn't worth it. iBomb was absolutely amazing for that fight. Got my 4-star Black Cat. Very nice. I am having a lot of input issues lately. Again, I blocked. That I was slow, that's fine. But, like, let me block the dang hits. Thank you. Sounds good, Snoops. I'll go ahead and promote you if you want to start AQ or anything. I think we might be getting to enough people there where we can actually run map 2 reliably. Oh, I need to enlist us for some wars. Yeah, that was dumb. I was way too late on that. But, yeah, I need to enlist us in some wars because we only need to participate in 5. We don't even really need to win them. The rewards are solid for accounts at that level. R4 APOC. Yeah, Grenfell. Just... I mean, it's not like it's in Kabam's interest for Arena to be fun. But I'm hoping that whoever is in charge of the AI decisions realizes soon that it is in Kabam's interest for the game to be fun. And that means not cursing the AI several times a day. If I were to assign Icarus to a war fight, what would the node defender have to be? Assume rank 3 Sig 200. Okay, so off the top of my head, the new node 20, we used to see Magneto placed there off and on before people really caught on to the man thing meta. Icarus would be amazing for Magneto on that node. A lot of the other shock immunes are metal, and so run into some problems there, or need Odin pre-fights, etc., etc. Like, there are various issues. Icarus would destroy that. Every time you try to apply the shock to him, he would put that passive energy vulnerability, multiply his basic damage, has plenty of debuffs to get past masochism. Like, it would be gorgeous. Haven't seen that in a while, but I would happily send Icarus to that node. I was sitting on that one hoping it would happen, but everyone places Man Thing there now, which is probably the correct move. The other one is there's certain champions on EMP mod that I think would be quite good, and then certain strike counter fights. Good lord. Yeah, okay, way too late on that. Am I getting hungry? I think I'm getting hungry. Yeah, I wish Icarus had a little bit more. I don't think he needs a lot more. I like him quite a bit, but just a little bit more. But I think that, like I talked about in the last Essentials video, the war meta is just not in a great place right now for cosmics in general. The nodes, the defenders, the globals, none of them really help cosmics out that much. Like they reworked Path 8 for it, and yeah, there are a few that can get through it. I mean, I assigned Hyperion today, but it's just not super cosmic friendly. It's getting better, but it's not there yet. Hmm. Well, it's an unduped crossbone, so that's fine. I also think against certain opponents, it wouldn't be that hard to really make Icarus work on the Path 8 nodes, the rich get richer stuff. Because when you're playing him properly, he actually has quite a few buffs he can access quickly. Maybe they're afraid of making the map cosmic friendly, considering how many cosmics can Nuka fight. See, that's a little different because the cosmics that can Nuka fight right now are the ones that are least buff dependent, that are arguably least consistent with the overall class identity. Like, I think that's exactly why they did the Path 8 thing. Um, because Path 8 doesn't really help Corvus or Hercules all that much. It helps the others. So I get what they're trying to do. Is but I think you're right. It is hard to make Hyperion, Icarus, Circe, King Groot, Venom Pool. It's hard to make them feel really relevant without breaking Corvus and Hercules further. But that's a problem they created for themselves, so I don't really have a whole lot of pity. Perfect Path 8 solution. I mean, there are a lot of solutions, Jason. Yeah. That was weird. Okay. Yeah, like I used Odin pre-fights make almost anyone work for that lane, and that's part of the problem. Is why use Odin? Why use Icarus? Why use Hyperion if you can just use a science champion or a mystic champion with Odin pre-fights? It really takes a lot of the interest out of it, especially because both of those are better at applying slow, countering unstoppable armor, countering miss. Like, they have more utility. And so if all the Cosmic class provides is something that having Odin on the team can almost fully replace, the class is not in a great spot. Like, there are good Cosmic champions, but I'm speaking specifically from a war perspective, where rosters are very limited and there's an opportunity cost to bringing everyone, where the chance of dying is just something you have to avoid with every fiber of your being. Cosmics other than Herc and Corvus don't offer a lot, and I assign other ones regularly, more than most in Tier 1, but from an opportunity cost standpoint, the class just does not bring that much to the table right now. Hey, look, a use for Civil Warrior. Why don't you see more hype in War? It's a number of reasons. A lot of the cosmics you do assign in War have indefinite buffs that they just build up and remove, which makes them much less vulnerable to Mystic Dispersion. Um, there's also how much Disorient and other forms of punishing stuns are all over the map, and Hype is fine played stun immune, but it introduces a higher skill cap. He only has one immunity, and it's not that relevant. He doesn't have any way to counter slow, which this season makes him worse at taking on a lot of the harder techs that he would actually be very good at otherwise. He doesn't have any way of dealing with auto block, which is one of the biggest things that you bring Cosmics for these days. He doesn't have any way of dealing with evade. His sustainability and regen isn't that important in war. Like, if you activate Hyperion's regen in a war fight, it was either an accident or you've messed up big and it's a Hail Mary. I did assign him in war today, but for a single fight, and there were other options. if Icarus put plasmas, that would be interesting. I suppose. Wouldn't really make lore sense. I know that's not like a be all end all argument, but they would kind of stick out to me as like something that they were clearly doing from a metagame perspective to try and make him better. I don't think that's necessary though. I think there's space for him to be good. Hold on, there are a couple. I do have some thoughts on that. Let me finish this fight, and I'll go pull him up. So with Icarus, I feel like the biggest problem is how much his kit is built around a signature ability that doesn't trigger that often. Because they have to apply an effect that he's immune to, right? Which means Incinerator Shock. And that's it. Like, or I suppose Suppression would be one other, but that's so rare. And I'm not even sure he's fully immune to suppression because I haven't tried that. It says this combat power rate cannot be increased or decreased by outside sources, but it doesn't say he's immune to suppression. It doesn't say that he's immune to alterations to his base power rate, just the bonus. So basically, he needs to take energy adoption lanes or something along those lines to be at his full power. And the rest of the kit is tuned down to allow for that ceiling. And so I really think that one of the biggest things you could do for Icarus is give him other ways to apply those energy vulnerabilities. Make it so that if he's power drained or power stolen, if that happens, boom, instant energy vulnerability. Like, because he's not immune to either of those. But you can tell from the rest of his kit, he's supposed to punish them. But right now, all he does is energy damage. Make that energy damage and energy vulnerabilities. That would be one of the first things to do. Trying to think. Okay, you know what? This is a terrible time. I'll restart the Elgato in a second. Another one could be like if his protection buff actually triggers its max damage. If you hit the cap on that, then another energy vulnerability could happen. If somebody were immune to his incinerates, then put the energy vulnerability so that he can still do damage there just with his basics. Like there are ways that he could be so much stronger. Yeah, something along those lines, Sarah Ghost. All right, I'll be right back. Um, just restart the OBS. All right, we should be back. I really hate those stream crashes. I know a lot of y'all wait them out, and I appreciate that. But I always end up losing some people when that happens. Like, I don't even think he needs power drain burn immunities. Because that's, like, clearly something that they're trying to make a mechanical decision about, where it's like some champions get it, and it's really important to the Cosmic class, but not all. I don't even think he needs that. Like, let him be power drained, but make it an alternative way of activating his signature ability, and then it's worth it. It's just as cool as his kit is, I think being immune to shock or incinerate is just too rare. So sick of the lag in Arena. Just the lag in general. That just reminded me, and I'll say it here while I'm doing that. Like, I am keeping track of my loyalty expenses. I did just make a note in my sheet before I forgot that I would encourage others to do as well. That um, it's kind of important to keep track of items that are due to input issues. Because I'm confident that in my power snack fight yesterday, the only reason I got hit is because of input issues. And so it's worth noting that, roughly 30,000 of the 110,000 loyalty I needed last war would theoretically not be needed after compensation is gone. I don't want to lean too heavily on that because like you do still need to be able to mess up occasionally in war and not have it ruin your season. But I'm keeping track of it because the last thing I want to happen is for Kabam to come back and go, well, but you wouldn't have needed as many items if things were working properly, so this data is invalid. So I'm going to try and make a note of that. Hey, William. Maybe I already said hello. I don't know. No armor breaks. Okay, at least we get the guaranteed one off the intercept. You'd have to specify that Icarus would have to be the one to remove the buffs for it to count, because otherwise, maybe. Um, yeah, I mean there are ways to do it. Okay, don't have much time left. I know I can get to 75,000 here. Let's just do quick fill. Sees all no. Hello, server. Thank you. I really feel like that was more of a lag issue combined with his hitbox than it was me being early. Yeah, because that felt exactly the same, but there wasn't that frame drop. It'll get fixed eventually. Looking forward to the refractor. Yeah, I can hit that in 15 minutes. Let's go. Stealth Spidey's AI can absolutely get lost. I hate it so much. Like, once the fight gets rolling, it's usually fine, but that beginning, he just sits there, doesn't block, throws his little lights, doesn't charge. Hate him. Not a difficult defender, but he's one of my least favorites. Like, him and Doc Ock are way up there. Where it's like, there's nothing about this fight that's actually hard, but I'm not going to enjoy it. It's fun how Despair interacts with Yellow Jacket's inborn, or sorry, native healing resistance. Don't know why, but I've never had any input issues in war. Gee, that sounds beautiful. Yeah, I don't have too many, but it does feel like I don't know whether the server prioritizes war fights or something. It feels like I have fewer, but I absolutely have them. That's close. William. Hopefully that does not happen to you. One champ I really don't enjoy fighting is long shot. Always waits for the perfect timing. Yeah, he loves to catch you with that special one, especially. Boom, instant bleeds. Yuck. Okay, well, Voodoo is terrible against Civil War, but Apocalypse isn't much better. Maybe I regret this, but I think we're just going to be doing this based on crits. Yep, that'll do it. No, Aaron. The way they're running through tactics right now is that both offensively and defensively, every season or every tactic gets 2 seasons. So we had 2 seasons of high ground. Did not think I was late on that. We had 2 seasons of high ground, and I hate that the timer on Bishop's incinerates is so short that literally if you parry, boom, incinerate. But yeah, we had 2 seasons of high ground. Now we're on our second season of unstoppable armor, and then it will move on to mystic dispersion, and that's offset by one where we had 2 seasons of slow your roll, one where it made 0 sense against untouchables, and one where it just didn't really interact with high ground. Oh my god. Sorry, my capture card is being a drama queen today. Um, and then we had the two with power down, and then starting this season we have Defiance, and that will continue into the next one. Yeah, they played well. They died more to us than to Kenobi, but unfortunately we died more than Kenobi. was a rough loss. There were a lot of uncharacteristic deaths. I think we're still gearing up from the off season in true SSX fashion. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna go grab some food. So like, even though I have one more set of arena fights to do to get this last milestone before I'm done, I'm just gonna call the stream here because I don't feel like restarting OBS again. Ugh. I'm just gonna unplug the capture card and leave it unplugged for a while. Hope that it learns its lesson. All right, thanks everybody so much for hanging out. It's a good time as always, and I will catch y'all later.